Hello. In the winter of 2016, a gang pulls up to a bank in Bangladesh. From the streets of Dhaka, a fortress of steel and tempered glass, its lower levels clad in granite. The vault is a colossal disc of steel alloy, sealed with multiple distinct combination locks. Rumored to be impenetrable, the guards monitored every quadrant, every shadow, under the merciless glare of CCTV cameras, designed to stand firm against any threat. But the thieves were able to force their way in anyway, not with guns, explosives, or industrial drilling gear. They were able to drain nearly $1 billion from the bank, armed only with keyboards and an internet connection. Ever since the dominance of the smartphone, our relationship with the internet has changed forever. A technology so powerful, we take it for granted. We walk around with these powerful computers in our pockets, without a care in the world. We go through our busy day thinking the digital world is this fluffy cloud that moves like gusts of air, a wisp in the sun's rays. We think it's completely separate from the physical reality of steel and concrete. That couldn't be further from the truth. The internet is heavy, it's physical, and like any physical place, it can be invaded. January 2015, 1 year before the heist, an employee at the Bangladesh bank receives an email from a job seeker named Rasela Halam. A normal mundane part of any office job, reviewing emails of potential future employees, reviewing future prospects for the bank. A simple resume attached to an email. The employee clicks it. That click was the first domino, but the hackers didn't steal the money right away. For 365 days, the malware sat inside the bank's network. They watched, they learned, they waited. This is the specialty of the mysterious hackers known as the Lazarus Group. They don't just rob you, they move into your walls. They learn all your secrets, all your routines, and then at the perfect opportunity, they strike. To understand how they did it, we have to talk about SWIFT, the Society for Worldwide Interbank Financial Telecommunication. You can think of it as part of a nervous system of the global economy. It is a private encrypted network, tamper-proof, crucial for financial data. It's secure, it operates on a closed loop. How could they break into such a secure network, you might ask? They didn't have to. They just needed to trick the terminal sitting in Dhaka into thinking they were authorized users. Digital Hollywood makeup of sorts. The most complex digital systems have a security check. Think of it as a bouncer at a nightclub. The bouncer performs a security check. Is this transaction valid? If the bouncer doesn't like your vibe, or your name is not on the list of guests, the code jumps to an error screen, and you're not allowed access inside. It's that simple. The Lazarus Group found the security guard, but instead of trying to sneak in through the sewers, or killing the bouncer, they lobotomized him. Like a digital Obi-Wan Kenobi, they replaced the jump instruction to deny access with NOP. No operation. Do nothing. With just 2 bytes in the code gone, the system lost the ability to say no. The hackers had unfettered access. They could send money anywhere, and the club bouncer would just smile and let them right in. But there was still one piece of the puzzle. A connection in the physical world. Most of you could relate to printer issues at work. The printer isn't working, you check to see if there's a paper jam, if the ink is low. You might even try unplugging it and plugging it back in. The last thing you want to do is call someone from IT, because they'll come in, check the printer, fix the problem in 3 seconds, and make you look stupid in front of all your coworkers. But there was something a bit strange going on with this printer. Zubair bin Huda, Joint Director, Bangladesh Bank, the man who found the printer, on the morning of the discovery, he says, "Since such glitches happened before, we thought it was a common problem, just like any other day." All banks have multiple fail-safes in place. The Bangladesh Bank was no exception. What was the bank's secret weapon? A printer. Every SWIFT transaction was automatically printed out on paper. You can hack a database, but it's much harder to hack a piece of paper once it's printed. As soon as the hackers would try to move any money, the printer would instantly print a receipt. Truth in black ink. Lazarus corrupted the printer driver. On the morning of the heist, the staff came in and found the printer tray empty. They thought it was just a glitch, a paper jam, a broken roller. They rebooted it. They tried to fix it. Little did they know, the silence of that printer was not only deliberate. That silence was the sound of almost $1 billion leaving the country. While the technicians were fiddling with the paper tray, the Federal Reserve in New York was receiving 35 separate instructions to transfer money. Total value? $951 million. Not suspicious in itself, since the Federal Reserve can regularly receive this type of volume on average days. The timing of the heist was not accidental. The hackers exploited the differences in global time zones and the cultural banking holidays to create a blackout window, where communication between banks was impossible. Timing is everything. It was a short window, but in Bangladesh, the weekend starts on Friday. On Thursday evening, February the 4th, the bankers in Dhaka went home. The bank was dark. But in New York, it was Thursday morning. The markets were open. The Federal Reserve was awake. Lazarus knew this schedule better than the employees. They initiated the transfers on Thursday night, Dhaka time. The messages flew across the internet to New York. 35 separate payment requests. The New York Fed saw valid credentials, they saw the correct codes, they started moving the money. By the time the Bangladesh Bank fixed their printer on Saturday, they could only watch in horror as the Federal Reserve was closed for the weekend. They couldn't stop the transfers. They had to wait until Monday. But Monday was Chinese New Year, a national holiday in the Philippines. The banks in Manila were closed. It was masterful timing. Dhaka was asleep, New York was away, Manila was partying. For 4 days, the money existed in a state of limbo, stolen and not stolen at the same time. But then a simple one-letter typo put a huge crack in the entire scheme. They almost got away with nearly $1 billion. They only got 81 million. Why? Because of a street name. The destination bank in Manila was on Jupiter Street. To the hackers, it was just an address. To the Federal Reserve Automation Sanctions Filter, Jupiter was the name of an Iranian shipping vessel on a watch list. The system flagged the payments because of the ship's name. After the initial freeze, bank employees started to scan for issues. A routing bank noticed the typo. The hackers had spelled foundation as fundation, missing the letter O. So a typo saved $20 million. So the next time you make a bad typo, cut yourself some slack. You're probably never going to make a typo that costs you 20 mil. But remember, 81 mil still got through. That's not a failure. That's an unimaginable fortune for most of us. And it landed right in the lap of Maya de Guito at the RCBC Bank in the Philippines. Maya de Guito, in May 2015, the branch manager, assisted in opening 5 dummy accounts with fictional identities. These dummy accounts sat dormant with $500 deposits until the actual day of the heist. $81 million. It arrived in Manila on Friday. By Tuesday, it was gone. The funds were rapidly withdrawn from the fake account set up by Maya, and then consolidated into a single account owned by a William Go. William denied involvement and claimed his signature was forged, which was later proven to be true by the authorities. It moved from the bank to a remittance firm called Philrem. Philrem converted the US dollars into Philippine pesos. This step is absolutely crucial because it breaks the chain of currency tracking that the US Fed controls. The cash was rushed onto armored trucks and sped off into the night. But where did they take that huge hoard of cash, you might ask? To the casino. Poker, roulette, slots. Why? Because in 2016, the casinos in the Philippines were a black hole. They were exempt from any anti-money laundering laws. Once you turn the cash into chips, it ceases to exist in the eyes of the law. It becomes winnings, It becomes clean. Lazarus and their associates knew time was running out. They needed this money to flood in and out of the casinos fast. The money was funneled into casino VIP rooms. The chips were played, shuffled, and cashed out. By the time the investigators arrived, the money had been laundered, packed into bags, and flown out. Most of it vanished to Macau, and from Macau, it went home to its final destination. Most criminals steal money to buy luxury cars, mansions, jewelry. They share it with their friends and family. But not Lazarus. Lazarus works for the state. The FBI concluded that this money was destined for the North Korean regime. That's $81 million. That $81 million didn't buy a Ferrari. Unlike traditional cybercriminal gangs, Lazarus operates as an extension of the North Korean state apparatus. It bought centrifuges, long-range missile parts, and technology to expand their nuclear capabilities. It bought the very weapons that threaten the stability of the world today. Lazarus Group. Perpetrator. Stole 81 million, never caught. Bangladesh Bank, victim. Lost 81 million. Governor Atwir Raham resigns. New York Federal Reserve, intermediary. Blocked 870 million, but cleared 81 million. RCBC Bank, recipient. Fined upwards up to $53 million by the Philippine Central Bank. Phil Run, the money launderer, indicted. Kim Wong, the casino operator. He avoided heavy charges, but he had to return the $15 million in funds that he had received. In the end, only one person went to prison. Maya de Guito, the branch manager who assisted in opening 5 accounts with fictitious identities. She was convicted of money laundering. Maya claimed she was a pawn, just following orders from above. Maybe she was, maybe she wasn't. But she was the only human face they could say was directly involved. Accused of being a mastermind behind the heist, she said, "I'm but a pawn in a high-stakes chess game played by giants." What about the hackers? Vanished. They're still out there. However, there was one named suspect wanted by the FBI under the name Park Jin-hyuk. Wanted in relation to the conspiracy to commit wire fraud, bank fraud, and conspiracy to commit computer-related fraud. But little is known about his current whereabouts. He is believed to be a direct member of the Lazarus Group. Tracy Wilkinson, the first assistant U.S. attorney at the time, said, "The complaint charges members of this North Korean-based conspiracy with being responsible for cyber attacks that cause unprecedented economic damage and disruption to businesses in the United States and around the globe." The official FBI criminal complaint regarding Park Jin-hyuk. Park Jin-hyuk is allegedly a state-sponsored North Korean computer programmer, who was part of an alleged criminal conspiracy responsible for some of the costliest computer intrusions in history. Dr. Adrian Nish, head of the Cyber Threat Intelligence BAE Systems, comments on the sophistication of the attack. He said, "The significance of our findings is that this attack links to the Lazarus Group. This case is evidence of the continued threat to the payments industry. The malware was bespoke, and it demonstrated a significant level of knowledge about the Swift Alliance access software." The Bangladesh bank heist changed everything. Swift patched the holes and bolstered their security protocols. Banks spent millions on security. These things are often done to appease the public and investors. but the precedent was set. We often think of these giant financial institutions as invincible, impenetrable. That couldn't be further from the truth. We now know the infrastructure of our lives is fragile. We know that a typo can save $1 billion and a broken printer can hide a robbery. Tonight, when you check your bank balance, ask yourself, is it real? Or has someone replaced the code? Is there someone watching, waiting silently, waiting for the opportunity to make it all disappear? So what do you guys think? What's the most embarrassing typo you ever made? Have you ever made a typo that cost you something big? Leave a comment below. Stay safe and stay salty.
공포 17형 시험 발사를 위한 전투 경보가 울렸습니다. 천지를 태운다는 요란한 폭음과 함께 눈부신 화강의 지면을 불덩이같이 달구며 조선민주주의인민공화국의 불가항력을 만장약한 거대한 실체가 대지를 박차고 우주 만리로 솟구쳐 올랐습니다. 국가 핵무력 건설 계획에 따라 조선민주주의인민공화국 전략무력이 장비하고 운영하게 되는 이 초대형 대륙간 탄도미사일 화성포 17형 무기 체계는 반공화국 핵전쟁 위협과 도전들을 철저히 통제하고 그 어떤 군사적 위기에도 공세적으로 대응하며 공화국의 안전을 수호하는 강위력한 핵전쟁 억제력으로서의 사명과 임무를 믿음직하게 수행하게 됩니다. 성공은 주체적 힘으로 성장하고 개척되어 온 우리의 자립적 국방공업의 위력에 대한 일대 과시로 된다고 긍지 높이 말씀하셨습니다. 경애하는 김정은 동지께서는 오늘의 이 어떠한 군사적 위협 공갈에도 끄떡없는 막강한 군사기술력을 갖추고 이 제국주의와의 장기적 대결을 철저히 준비해 나갈 것이라고 말씀하셨습니다. 경애하는 김정은 동지께서는 조선민주주의인민공화국 전략무력은